David had lived in his old family home for nearly a decade. It wasn't anything extraordinary, 2 stories, creaky floors, the smell of pine and dust, but it was his. Every corner, every dent in the walls held memories. That was why, when he woke up one quiet morning and noticed something new in the house, it unsettled him more than he could explain. There was a door in the hallway. He froze on the staircase, staring at it. The hallway had always been blank drywall, a stretch of beige paint between the kitchen and the living room. But now, perfectly fitted into the wall, stood a heavy wooden door. Dark oak with a brass handle that gleamed faintly. David muttered aloud, as though saying it would make sense of it. This wasn't here yesterday. He approached cautiously, running his hand over the surface. The wood was cold, almost too cold, as if it had been standing outside in the night air. His heart thudded. He called his friend Mark later that morning, half laughing as he explained. "I swear, man, there's a door in my house that wasn't there yesterday." Mark chuckled. "You're just tired. Maybe you never noticed it." But David knew his own house. He'd walked through that hallway 1,000 times. He would have noticed. By noon, curiosity gnawed at him. He turned the handle. The door creaked open, revealing a staircase descending into darkness. It smelled faintly of damp earth, like an old cellar. But David didn't have a basement. His house was built on solid stone foundation. He fetched a flashlight and returned. The beam cut into the darkness, showing stone steps slick with moisture. His stomach twisted, but something compelled him to keep going. The descent seemed longer than it should have been. The air grew colder, thicker. His breath puffed in white clouds as if he were outside in winter. At the bottom, he reached a narrow corridor, lined with doors on each side. Each one was slightly ajar, shadows bleeding from the cracks. "Hello?" His voice echoed unnaturally, stretching too long like the word didn't want to end. From one of the doors came a sound, tap, 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 as though someone inside was tapping their fingernails against the wood. David's hand trembled as he pushed the nearest door open. Inside was a room filled with furniture that belonged to his childhood home. The sofa his parents had thrown out, the old grandfather clock that had stopped working years ago, his father's favorite armchair. Dust covered everything, but he recognized each item. "This is impossible," he whispered. He staggered back into the corridor. Another door creaked open on its own. Beyond it was a hospital room, stark and white with machines beeping. On the bed lay himself. Or rather, an older version of himself, frail, pale, eyes shut tight. The monitor beeped once, then flatlined. The lights flickered. David stumbled away, heart slamming against his ribs. The corridor seemed endless now, stretching farther and farther. He turned, searching for the staircase, but the way back had vanished. Only doors, hundreds of them, each humming softly as if waiting to be opened. From behind one came whispers. His name, repeated over and over. "David, David, David." He pressed his hands to his ears and ran. The flashlight beam jittered wildly across stone and shadows. He stopped only when he reached a door at the very end of the corridor. Unlike the others, it was shut tight, locked with iron clasps. A symbol was carved into the wood, something that looked older than language. His gut screamed at him not to touch it. But the whispers behind him grew louder, and he felt the corridor closing in. Desperate, he fumbled at the clasps, yanking them open. The lock snapped with a metallic clang. The door swung wide. Darkness swallowed him whole. When David awoke, he was back in his living room, sprawled on the carpet, drenched in cold sweat. For a moment he thought it had been a dream, until he saw the mud on his shoes and the dirt smeared across his hands. He rushed to the hallway. The door was gone, just smooth drywall again. For days after, David tried to convince himself it was his imagination. But at night he sometimes woke to the faint sound of tapping beneath the floorboards. And once, just once, he swore he heard whispers, his name echoing through the silence. And every morning he checked the hallway, dreading the day the door would return.